you first see him live?
Not till 78.
78, okay.
Yeah.
And where was that show?
Hampton Coliseum. It could have been 79, I forgot. Actually, I think it was spring 79.
Okay. How was it?
Oh, awesome.
Awesome,
yeah, I was hooked. In fact, I came back. I was in college, and I remember we had, at our campus, every once a week, they'd have an open mic, and anyone could just go up. And I remember going up. It's like a hill, and just talking about going to the Grateful Dead. Every student should see the Dead at least once in their life.
Scarlet, Begonias, tucked into a curl. I knew right away she was not like other girls.
I think I've seen the Dead 24 times.
So that would make me 20, probably. Thereabouts.
Since 1983, we saw approximately, from 83 to 95 when Jerry died, we saw approximately like 4, 5, 6 shows a year.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say 70 or so. 70 or so.
So, would you guys consider yourself Deadheads?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so. I don't know, whatever that means.
I think Deadheads in spirit more than anything, because there are certainly people who've seen hundreds of shows, which we haven't seen hundreds of shows, but we know all their music and have followed them for a long time. So.
For Dead.
I love the band. It's my favorite band.
Just a place if you look at it right.
What's been your favorite show out of all of them? Is there one that like really sticks out?
And then the Hampton Coliseum, which was with Jerry, that was a lot of fun, just because that went down as one of their better shows. So that was a good time. And I remember Kay was working at the time, and she worked with some very conservative people. And one fella who lived over in Hampton, Virginia, was commenting to Kay and other co-workers to avoid Hampton because the Satan worshippers were in town.
I think when Pete and I traveled and did a road trip to Rochester, New York, and Jerry at the baseball diamond, and it was in a baseball diamond in Rochester, and Peter and I saw a show in Ohio, and that was one of our worst shows. We thought, oh, are we really going to go? Maybe the Dead aren't just as good and all that. But then we went and traveled around Canada. We were on vacation together, and then we came down. We saw them in Rochester, and it was probably one of my favorite shows.
There was a lot of shows that weren't great, too. That were, like, they just didn't click. They weren't great.
Mm-hmm.
But then for every one of those, you'd say, oh, I want to keep doing this. And then when they'd be amazing, they would bring you back and you would do it again. So
Every show is different. Like, every show is different.
And every show is fun.
And every show is fun. And it's sort of it's a science of going to the show where you have to try to figure out, okay, what are they going to open with? What are they going to play when they come out of Drums in Space? So it's sort of what would you call it?
Well, it's an experience. The whole thing is.
Yeah, it's not just
people.
the concert for 3 hours. It's the people and the venue and the hours leading up to and following.
I guess one of the reasons I just like the band, besides just the music, is the whole scene, and you're with, largely like-minded people, tend to be pretty, with a liberal slant and just very accepting of you. So I like that, and walking around the parking lot.
I was looking into it, and there's kind of like a parking lot scene, like almost a tailgate for the concerts. What were those like?
A big party.
you always wanted to get there early enough to go walk around a little bit because you saw some of the wildest things you ever saw.
You bought bracelets and T-shirts and food, and it was just like a day-long party of Deadheads and people playing Grateful Dead music.
In the big concert where there was a big parking lot, there would be a big tailgate scene.
Yeah.
People, vendors.
Music and cooking over fires and selling crafts and things that they made, and And some deadheads, like true ones that followed them from show to show, that was how they had to make enough money to get something to eat and to buy their tickets to the next show.
Yeah, and then you meet some real hardcore deadheads, and this was a long, long time ago. They would just travel from city to city and sometimes around the world, and they would just fund their travel by selling anything from brownies, who knows what was in the brownies, to just handcraft items. It was just neat walking around.
A lot of them would just travel from show to show, and they never knew when they were really going to have tickets to get in the show. Like, that was just their their community was going from show to show, and if they got lucky and got in and got a ticket,
it's a miracle.
It's a miracle. And in fact, they'd hold up signs, "I need a miracle," and that means I need a ticket to get in.
The Dead are always a live band. I mean, they were much bigger live band than they were recording band. They only had one top 40 hit, I think, maybe two in their whole career, but packed stadiums for decades.
And multiple shows in a row. Like, they didn't show up for one show. They were there for 3 nights, usually 2 or 3 wherever they went. So it was definitely, people would make a whole weekend out of it, and they would travel from all over the place to come see them or to do the whole weekend. So
I just loved the dancing. I loved the deadheads. I loved the colors. I loved, and I didn't do. It's not because of heavy drugs or anything like that. It was just really more the atmosphere, and it was the first time that I danced with everyone around me, and it was really fun.
What do you like about their music in general? Like the lyrics or the instrumentation or a little bit of both?
It's uplifting.
yeah, they didn't really have any angry songs, and even though they could have been angry with when they.
It also spans all kinds of music.
Yeah.
It's country, blues, rock, folk, jazz.
Yeah.
It covers a wide range of different styles of music.
Yeah.
I think the main thing is that no 2 shows are the same.
Mm-hmm.
No 2 songs are the same.
Right.
So they improvise as they're going, and it just, I guess, I like how they meld a lot of styles: bluegrass, country, sort of psychedelic. People that really have read and understand the music. You got Phil Lesh, is, virtuoso, trained in classical music. Jerry was more of, country and bluegrass, and he's probably actually a better banjo player than he was a guitar player. But just the way they put everything together, the fact that you have 2 drummers, I always thought that was cool, and then just the psychedelic graphics.
Yeah.
Was fun.
I think they kind of invented the jam thing. Them and the Allman Brothers. There was just a handful of bands that could get on stage and play for hours and hours and hours, and stretch out songs and keep them interesting
Mm-hmm.
and different, and keep you wanting to come back and see how they're going to do it next time. Most musicians, when they toured, didn't do that. So there was just some things very unique about the band. The way they gave out their music, the people taped it and traded the tapes. In hindsight, that's probably what made them so popular, because everybody could listen. People take a tape back to their dormitory and play it, and you listen. And then they say, "Hey, I'd like to go see those guys."
When you were in line, there would be people with backpacks and microphones who were going to be in the taping section. So at every show, you had in the middle, you had a huge taping section, and that's unprecedented. And
You could always tell the taping section because they all had microphones on stands going way up in the air.
right,
So at the back of the floor, usually where it was, in the arena, you saw this section. It was all recording equipment, people with the recording equipment.
and there were cassette tapes, and the new technology was that you could take a tape and record it to another tape and copy it and give out the tapes. it's kind of counterintuitive because people would think that, oh, they're going, not, the band isn't making money off of it, but in fact, it was a hobby. And, oh, let me see, oh, you have that show, I really want that show. And then they would trade tapes, and then you'd go out to the parking lot, and then you'd hear the same show all over again because people would be playing it. And the drum circles, so we're in the parking lots, and people would be around the drum circles, and that was always really fun.
We recently saw the Dead and Company, which is the new iteration of the band without Jerry and John Mayer replacing him. How did that compare to an old Dead show?
Well, it's never the same without Jerry, but it's pretty darn good. John Mayer's very good, and it's good to see them still playing at the age they're at.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Phil wasn't with them.
Phil wasn't with them, we saw him.
When that's part. He's not part of it.
He was their original bass player, but it's still a lot of fun.
But but their bass player now is really good.
Yeah.
And
John Mayer was a good pick for that spot.
yeah, because he's really talented musically. Like he can.
And I think he's brought the
Energy.
interest to among younger people too.
Yeah.
It's probably sacrilegious to say this, but I liked it equally. What I particularly liked about it, was an opportunity for younger people to get introduced to the music, and I enjoyed it. You know, it's not quite at the level, but it was still fun to keep the party going, as Bob says.
I think Dead and Company's amazing. I hope they keep going.
Yeah.
It's great to see Bob Weir get loose and happy on stage. Even with the Dead, he always seemed a little bit tense and serious. And he started to change a little bit that way with this guy John Mayer. And the two of them seem to really inspire each other.
Last time when we saw them this past summer, there were a lot of people our age who brought their parents with them.
And their kids.
And their kids, right.
Like it was multi-generational.
3 generations at a time.
That was really cool this past summer when John Mayer was with them. That was a cool thing to see people our age with their kids and their parents. They're not everybody, but
I would say there are 3 really unique things about the Dead that made them different and longer lasting, and the reason that they're still popular today. One of them is the tape, and their attitude towards kind of share the music, and they weren't. It was very uncommercialized, and I think in that sense they really believed what. They were kind of, I don't know, true hippies in that way. The second were the lyrics, and Robert Hunter wrote over half of the songs. And it's truly poetry. And when you look at songs like Clocks of Rain and Eyes of the World, and then the third was really the scene. And then of course, you couldn't have any of that without the quality of music, and the number of songs that were unique to the Grateful Dead. Like I don't hear any other band doing Scarlet Fire or China Cat Rider or Eyes of the World.
Well, Jerry could hit your soul. He just had that way. The way he played and how he was, the way he sang, and how much heart he put into it. He could, if he was there and he was on and he hit your soul, then it was a great show.
Sense of living, we all gotta But you're here alone, there's no one to compete.
For me, all of it was for music. And so I kind of feel like part of the reason I am who I am is through that music.
Fire,